Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing about the topic that is city creation. In this basically we are discussing this money basically, which is the most dangerous money basically in this world basically. So this money is basically earned by the software companies, and America is doing their duties basically. Sorry, America is telling that basically we are basically sending few planes basically crash there also basically, and like this basically they also might be handling the economic basically. So just see basically how the economic of the world basically is getting handled. This is the way basically some of the group basically found basically to keeping the control across the world basically, to keep the control across the world basically. So if they are keeping the control across the world with the help of this, that means the people basically who might be dying basically, Americans, Italian, Indians, Pakistanis, whatever basically, Bangladeshis, they might be rich people only basically. Normal people is going to die basically. Why normal people basically will die? This everything is happening why basically? This everything is happening why basically? For this basically. So here basically only those group is going to die who basically is having big level of bank account basically. That is minimum account basically would be in 100 crore, 200 crore basically. Those people only will die na basically. Otherwise basically how this basically amount is going to be up to this level basically. How the money basically is going to up to that level basically. So you can just imagine basically these groups and these groups and these groups basically are these groups, but they are earning money from this group, this money only. So one of the person told that basically, I think you are correct basically, whatever basically the big infrastructure basically the software company is having, that is basically created by that text box equal to 1000 cities, combo box equal to 1000 cities, check box equal to 1000 cities, radio button equal to 1000 cities. That group has created that city. That group only basically has created the infrastructure of the software industry basically, because that groups only basically know na basically that text box equal to 1000 cities and that 1000 city exists basically. That group only basically knows. That groups only basically knows na basically. Otherwise anybody knows that basically that 1000 city equal to text box. The people who knows basically. For example, one of the person told that, yaar, Sunil, you basically had dumped very dangerous thing in that LinkedIn basically. That is this basically. Just a minute. This basically. This thing basically you have dumped basically. That is very dangerous thing basically you have taken. This thing basically. But this thing basically who can understand basically? This thing basically who can understand? The people who know basically that text box equal to 1000 cities and this 1000 cities is this whole area basically. Those group only basically can do the problem basically. And by chance basically, if anybody says that I will finish the entire city, this, that, basically I will do the Mount Blast, RDX, I will dump RDX, this DEX, whatever DEX basically. But without basically the power company permission basically, they are going to do that basically. Because RDX also basically, it's not going to blast to few steps also basically. Why? Because without power company permission basically, you can't do the bomb blast in the certain areas basically. That is 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers basically. RDX what will do? It will just blast in few areas basically. That is 15 steps basically, 17 steps, 18 steps, or maximum basically 55 steps basically. After that basically RDX will not work basically. But to explore big basically to 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, for that basically the power company is required basically. Without their permission basically you can't do anything basically. So this thing basically, without power permission basically, power company permission, that is the nuclear power company permission basically, this group basically can't do anything basically. Nobody can do anything basically. So those group only basically can do basically, those who have the knowledge and who basically can do the thing basically, and have the power basically. And one person basically can't do anything. Here basically the groups are basically there. Here basically the groups are there basically who are doing this basically. So you can just imagine basically. You can just imagine basically. You can just imagine the thing basically. So handling entire internet basically in one SIM, that basically is 100% correct basically. And this is also basically mostly it, as per basically we are having the videos basically, this also seems that basically this is also 100% correct basically, not 100%, 98% basically. And this is also 98% correct basically, and this is also 98% correct basically. And here one more thing, Indian businessman is giving software projects to USA. And USA basically is giving money in the dollar form to Indian businessmen. So just chain basically you see, Indian businessmen are handling USA, USA basically is handling Indian businessmen, and then basically the chain basically keeps on going basically. So like this basically, Indian businessmen are doing the verification also of the USA, that whatever things basically we are telling them, that Indian businessmen are doing that basically. So just see basically each and every physical verification basically are also done basically, that Indian businessman, that is the software businessman, given the project to businessman, the USA businessman told that basically this each and every projects, then basically the few incidents need to create, that basically they tells to the Indian businessman, and Indian businessman doing. So that Indian businessman is basically watching that basically this person basically is doing the stuff or not basically, then he's telling that basically yes, he basically is doing it basically. So like this basically they are telling nothing to USA, but doing each and every task of them basically. Each and every task is basically done by the USA, and they are doing the verification also basically, because they don't believe in satellite cameras also basically. That's why basically they are placing their they are basically giving the projects from there basically from Indian land to USA. USAP groups are basically doing some activities, and then basically they are giving some incidents to the Indian businessmen, and then Indian businessmen basically are doing the certain level of task, and that basically is having the verification basically. So just see basically up to what level things basically are connected basically. So few people says that basically who might be that businessman basically, who might be that businessman basically, that Indian businessman basically, who is actually doing this type of stuff basically. So in next video basically we are going to see that who is that businessman and who is doing this type of stuff.